All right, welcome to Dirt Bike Channel. If you came here to watch a middle-aged man fumble through a tire change, you came to the right place. And a tube type tire change on a motocross style bike. This is a 19-inch wheel. I mostly switch my bikes over to tubeless. I know a lot of guys do moose bibs, but still the most common and the simplest way to make your tires have air in them is still with tubes, and heavy duty tubes. They're the simplest thing. Now, I also want to say that I put my money where my mouth is, because I put out some emails to my audience the last couple of weeks, and I've been talking a lot about tires. I'm talking about how I don't run tires that long. This bike has 18.4 hours on it, and we're swapping out this Dunlop MX34. This is my son's bike. It's KTM 250 SXF, and we're just wanting to get a little bit more performance, especially for some of his starts and things. We're not like crazy competitive. He's much better at motocross than I am. But yeah, I just, money where the mouth is. There's more bang for the buck in tires. Hey, if you're a cool person and you want to support what we're doing, even though some of these videos are boring, click the link right down here to shop for Rocky Mountain ATV using my link, or you can find it at dirtbikechannel.com. Using those links doesn't cost you anything, but it does keep everything we're doing here alive. All the videos, all the tutorials, everything that we're doing, even the bike giveaways, it happens because of that Rocky Mountain ATV link. So click the link right down here and let's get back to the video. I usually just use, these are the tire spoons that I really like. There's a couple different versions of it. I've got, and you can get these at Rocky Mountain ATV. This is the Motion Pro tire spoon. You can also get Tusk ones. Some of them have these like nylon or rubber handles or whatever. Motion Pro, Tusk, they're all basically the same, but I really like these really rounded and smooth tire irons. And if I'm doing tubeless and if I'm doing tubes, I really never need more than 3. Now, if you're gonna do like moose bibs, you're gonna want more of the curved ones. I don't do a lot of moose bibs, but they're these big long ones that have the curves on them. That's extremely helpful for that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna slowly take small bites on this and get this tire off. Now, when I'm doing tubes, I don't like to run tubes beyond a tire change. You can, and if you're careful with it, you know, you can totally do that. I also like to put in baby powder inside of the tire, which I'll show you a little bit later. But that's one side. And now at this point, we could take the tube out. There's a few different ways to do this. Sometimes I'll just actually take it off the other side as well, just like I'm doing a tubeless wheel. So like this. This is how I do it with tubeless. With tubes, you can do it either way. But now watch this. I'm gonna kind of start opposite the rim lock, and I'm gonna pull this tire all the way off, even though it's got a tube in it, and I could have just popped that tube out. Sometimes I'll do this, and I will kind of go like this. Now, if you want to like rip me in the comments and tell me I'm doing it wrong, just know I'm never gonna see it. I don't read comments. I've been doing this for a long time, and this is something, I've got ways that work for me, methods that work for me. You may have methods that work for you, and that's totally cool. But if you're sitting in the comments trying to like rip me and think you're gonna make me have a bad day or whatever, first off, I don't give a crap what somebody in their basement thinks. And also, this works really well for me. So we'll get the tire off that rim lock, and now she's off. You'd be surprised what kind of get down in here, so I'm just gonna clean this out with compressed air. Okay, so here's my new tire, and I've just put some baby powder in here. I had the camera running, but not running. So I basically just put some baby powder down in this tire like so, and then just run it around. So I want a decent amount. You can kind of see it blowing around in here. And then just kind of get that baby powder spread throughout the tire. And now we'll go to the next step. So for this application, I'm just using this Tusk heavy duty motorcycle tube. Got this from Rocky Mountain ATV. I buy basically everything I can from those guys. I bought the tire from them. And I'm putting in a heavy duty tube. I always put in the heavy duty tubes. I never put in the standard duty ones. Even the severe duty ones would be good. The only drawback is that they're a little bit heavier. Now this tube isn't real heavy, so I'm not worrying about that part. But I will take off one of these. I'll take off my cap, and then they typically come with 2 different nuts on the valve stem right here. And I will take off that outside one. It's gonna go on later. And I'll just make sure that this one is still tight down against that. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of air in this. Not a lot, but just a little. So I go like this. Just get this thing to sort of take shape just a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of push down with my body weight and then stuff the tube inside of here. Some people will put the tube in and then put the air in. Either way, doesn't matter. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna find our valve stem, which is right over here. I'm gonna put that through there. And that's when I'm gonna use my little nut. Put that on. Okay. Now the other thing I'm gonna be mindful of, let's see if we can even see what we're looking at here. The other thing I'm gonna be mindful of is my rim lock, which is right here. So now it's just about, I'm gonna put some Armor All on this thing. My Armor All is my lubricant. That's what I like to use, just to make sure that my bead is nice and slick. So I'm just gonna use a tire iron and start kind of working this thing. In fact, I'm gonna work this so that I've got that rim lock inside the tire right off the bat, just like that. That way I don't have to worry about it so much later. And then I'm just going to carefully start putting, and I'm only putting on the bottom bead. Just kind of getting the bottom bead over that rim. So not concerned about the top one. In fact, I'd rather have that top one stay off at this point. And I'll just work myself slowly around here. The sucky thing is if you ever pinch that tube, but now the tube is down inside here. So at this point, it's been completely safe away from my tools. And then this top part is still above the bead, which is good. And I can check and see that my rim lock is still inside the tire. See, I can push it right there. That's great. And then I'm gonna go and get one more bite right here and pull that over. A little less bite. And we just need one more. I believe that tubeless installs are easier once you've got it set up. And I'm just making sure that, there goes my thing. Just making sure that that looks okay. on this side, and then I'm gonna go here. Now, for whatever reason, I always like to finish at the rim lock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in one of these little bead buddies here, kind of over near where the rim lock is. So this bead buddy is just gonna slide down in between the tire and the rim, and that holds my bead down right here. And then I've got this thing armor-rolled up, and I'm just, that's what you don't want to do. Me sticking that tire iron in that far, that's the exact opposite of what I want to do. I want to stick that tire iron in just as little as possible. By the way, I got this stand like 10, 15 years ago. It's a tusk stand from Rocky Mountain ATV. There are other guys out there, like Jay Clark has like plans for you to build your own. You basically would need to find and source all the metal and have a welder, or if you are a welder, you can do it. And his stands are freaking sweet, and Jay's a way better tire changer than me. That's just the truth. However, this tire stand is cheap, lightweight, and as long as you as long as you put some thread locker on the, get that thing to go in. You put some thread locker on all the screws. There we go. Okay, so now that tire's on, and moment of truth, I'm just gonna make sure that our tube isn't doing anything weird anywhere. Everything looks fine. I don't see anything like wigging out, in which case I'm ready for air. I'm watching that bead as it comes up over here, and it'll just come up slowly. But yeah, if there was a problem, we would know. And if our valve stem right here was coming out on an angle, we'd know we got a problem. If that valve does come out, if this valve core does come out on an angle, or valve stem, you can let all the air out of this and make sure there's no air in the tire, and then you can just turn this nut all the way down, and it'll kind of straighten things out. I know I'm not still fully up on the bead over here. I just want to see how much air I have. So I've only got 16 PSI. I'm gonna go up to about 30. There it is. There it is. So that popped out. So that's good. Now I've got my bead popped out all the way on this side. And let's take a look on this side. Looks like, oh, bead isn't fully out right here either. How much pressure do we have? And sometimes this stuff will just have to work its way out. We've got 25. I'll go up to 40 on this, just playing with these things. The other thing that sometimes I have done, because that's 35. That's coming out. I'm just going to let the air out of this, and then, oh wait, it's coming up. It's coming up right there. There it is. She's up. Okay, now she's up all the way. So I'm gonna let a bunch of this air out of here. In fact, we can do it with this. Where's my gauge? Lastly, I almost forgot to show you guys tightening up our rim lock. I do not tighten these rim locks up until I've got everything beaded up and it looks good, because I want to look for leaks. I want to check for anything weird before I worry about my bead lock. And that's good. This tire is good to go and ready to be put back on. So I've been saying, I think that the most important skill that we can learn as dirt bikers, as far as maintenance goes, is how to change our own tires at home. You won't get any more bang for your buck out of anything than you will for new tires. And so if you have to send these things to a shop, you're gonna end up spending so much more money in the long run, and you're also going to run your tires way, way too long. And that's not a good thing. So I'm just gonna wad up a paper towel right here and pull this back. That will then force my axle into these axle block adjusters, and then I can just tighten it down with tighten my axle nut down on this side. This thing doesn't have to be crazy tight, but give a good torque on that, and then we're good here. I've adjusted that chain the last time. These ones, I run a little bit more slack in these newer frame KTMs, newer gen KTMs. But that's it. Then I'll just pump up my brake again. And my son's motocross bike is good to go with new rubber. If you want to support these videos, the best way to do it is by using my links to Rocky Mountain ATV. That's where I bought this tire. These tires are expensive. This Dunlop MX34, it's an expensive motocross tire, but it's what my son wanted to run. They've got a ton of other tires over there that I love. You can't beat them on price and service. So use my link, go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com, and then click on the link Shop Rocky Mountain ATV, or click on the link down here in the video description. You can buy anything they sell, and it doesn't cost you a single dime. It just helps to support what we're doing here on the channel and keep this alive. And for those of you, if you watch in the month of June, I will be giving away a sweepstakes bike. It's the 2025 KTM 250XC. It's the one that's right over here out of the frame. I'll be giving that away in June, and any time you use my links to Rocky Mountain ATV in June, it'll get you entered to win that bike. So anyway, this sucker's good to go. She is primed and ready, and time for some more motocross for my son. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, leave a single track.